as we look at the future of businesses and even generally future of our lives, what we can appreciate is the role of technology is going to increase more than if we think that a lot of technology is being used in our life, which is correct. Even more technology will be incorporated in our lives, and eventually, businesses who would want to grow beyond boundaries, they would want to reflect on the role of technologies and how they can use it to their advantage. So, in an effort to discuss this topic, I selected this article, Collaborative Intelligence. It's more about collaboration. So, human beings, what type of technologies they can join forces with, what type of technologies they can collaborate with to improve the productivity, quality of businesses, overall efficiency, um, these type of things. So for that, humans and AI are joining forces. Yes. So this is what we would like to maybe reflect on in our today's interaction. Artificial intelligence is becoming good at many human jobs. For example, diagnosing diseases, translating languages, providing customer service. And you can see, there are many, of course, there is no shortcut. If you can learn the languages and can communicate with them, that's very good. But if you are, let's say, visiting a Spanish speaking country and you don't know Spanish, there are many tools, AI enabled tools and other type of tools which you can use to translate basic languages and so on. um, Other things you can think about, like subtitles. We can enjoy movies from other countries with subtitles and so on. Diagnosing disease, this is something which maybe um, doctor is supposed to do, but yes, they are doing it, but they are using different type of AIs which help them to diagnose the things uh, in a very fast, reliable way also, and way before a human doctor is going to diagnose, looking at artificial intelligence and past trends in the data. AI is able to diagnose uh, different type of things. And before the class start, I was just interacting with Jord, and she was telling me about some issue related with, in family, like in cancer and those type of things. So AI is being used to diagnose cancer many months before it would even show in the reports. And you can run some searches on that. That is quite fascinating, because what they are doing is AI, because AI is dependent on data. So the past reports of the of the person in target, the patient, um, uh, what type of issues they have in the past, and from there some type of trend can be generated, and um, a disease which will take place in the future can be diagnosed or predicted with quite a reasonable predictability. Not 100%, of course, but this is work in progress. So now you can think, business, hospital is a business, so how it can impact. This is rising reasonable fears that AI will ultimately replace human workers throughout the economy, but that is not the inevitable or even most likely outcome. Although this is what the article is saying, but if you look at what other people are different type of, thinking on this, like how big is going to be the impact of, for example, technologies like AI. And you can run some Google searches on, like, people like Honorable Elon Musk, yeah, Tesla guy. He thinks that he does not think this, what this article is stating here. He thinks that it's very likely that they are going to really overcome human beings in many ways. Yes. So different people think differently on this, but the way I'm looking at it, I also feel that we should look at in terms of the collaboration. Like there are some things which humans are good at, and there are some things which machines, robots are good at. So together, if an alliance is formed and we use the, like for example, looking at a big data set to diagnose disease or something like that. Big data, scanning through big data. It is of course one thing which humans cannot do very fast. We need time to look at. Like right now, we can only look at one article. We cannot look two articles simultaneously. Yes, I can open another article and start talking about two, that also, or maybe three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 articles. But then it can maybe confuse people. But definitely we cannot look at 20, 30, 40 articles simultaneously in a short period of, let's say, 2 hours. But this is not any hindrance for artificial intelligence. It can look at all the data on one topic, let's say diagnosing disease, and it can look at all the data available in Jamaica, for example, um, in a very fast way, and simultaneously it can look at it. It is just like when you run a Google search and you type something, you Google something, some product, some concept, some person, how Google works. It is looking at all the data across platforms available to it and giving you the results. Now, this is something which, of course, humans cannot do themselves on their own. They need some type of technology. So, same way, there are some things which AI is maybe better at, and there are some things which maybe, at least as we speak, human beings a little bit better. So it's a augmentation of both of them. Never before have digital tools been so responsive to us, nor we to our tools. While AI will radically alter how work gets done and who does it, the technology's larger impact will be in complementing and augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them. Yeah, so well, there are some people who say that it can replace also. So now you can form your own opinion. Based on your readings and the way you look at various things. But um, some people do think that it is going to replace, and many people think that maybe it is not going to replace in the short run. But no one really knows the future, because to predict things in next 30, 40 years very accurately with 100% confidence, even if we even if we are correct, we will only know after 30, 40 years that we were correct. Right now it is just speculation and thoughts, but this is the general ideas which we would like to discuss. And then we would like to look at some international businesses also at the end of the discussion somewhere, which are using different forms of artificial intelligence, how they are using. So the agenda for today is to make you think and reflect that we have done what we have done. That is fine in terms of our course, but the future of international businesses, you cannot really get the benefits of uh, scale, expanding your benefits if you are not using some type of technology. And this is correct even in today's world, like international businesses which are really impacting the world, throughout the world. For example, Amazon. Amazon is definitely a business which is disrupting many different other types of businesses. People are buying, selling, using Amazon. So what happened to the older way of selling, like brick and mortar? Yes, it is there still, but it is definitely like how you shop your clothes and things you want, like hair you want, or cosmetics you want, or shirts you want, or shoe you want. Um, you would, yes, go to shopping plazas here and see if you like something and buy it. That thing is still here, but many times many friends are buying online things, and they are using these type of platforms which fall under the domain of international businesses. So these are some things which you would want to uh, get comfortable with uh, under the themes of international businesses. Okay, George is saying, I think it depends on the job. Some I think can be completely replaced. Yes, very good observation. Yes, you can see what George is typing in the chat. It depends on what type of job it is. Like lower level jobs, which does not necessarily require some high-fi skills, those jobs are definitely going to get replaced um, very quickly in many countries. Jamaica is also seeing a little bit of that. It is not on a bigger scale, but if you look carefully, you will see that there are jobs which are getting replaced. There are like job of teller in bank. Many times I heard that if we talk 10, 15 years ago, people would get a job as a teller and then perform well and then go into other type of jobs in the bank. But nowadays, uh, many banks are decreasing the number of, if not 100% eliminated, decreasing the number of tellers in their banks locally in Jamaica, and you can see and observe that. And that can have a lot of impact on economy and those type of things. You can link it with so many things. Um, and I hope that as you will scan through the article, you will be able to think and reflect on these type of things. Like benefits are there, but there can be some serious challenges also. And at the end of the discussion, the the reason for all of this discussion would be to make you reflect that you need to think about your own career building in similar type of way, like in terms of uh, skill building and things which would be more useful in the future. Um, uh, that is the that is maybe fundamental question I think you should ask for, because not everyone is going to work in international businesses or would want to even start something like that. Um, so these type of collaborative intelligence, human and AI actively enhance each other's complementary strengths. The leadership, team, creativity, and social skills of human beings, and speed. So in human beings, they would have leadership, teamwork, creativity, social skills, maybe if they have developed those. And using from AI side, it would be speed, scalability, and quantitative capabilities, those type of things, which we try to uh, uh, speak about. So essentially, the article is about supporting this partnership between AI and human beings through the research these people have conducted and their work in the field. They have developed some guidelines to help companies achieve the collaboration, and put the power of collaborative intelligence to work. So these are some things which are very important for international businesses. And this is very interesting, the value of collaboration. Companies benefit from optimizing collaboration between humans and artificial intelligence. Five principles can help them do so. What are those five principles? You would want to think about that. For example, reimagine business processes, meaning the way a process is being conducted now, how it can be done in a different way, so we can take advantage of speed, scale, quantitative data, and so on. So, and we would keep our own creativity and social skills and teamwork and leadership, so on. So reimagine business process. So any business process you are seeing in a business, of course, you should think that if what type of technologies are available right now and what can be the future like. and maybe think on that and try to improve that process using some type of technology, because the process is going to be same, like it is people are still buying, people are still selling. So the fundamental principle is same. You will need things, you will have to buy, you will make things, you will have to sell. But now using technologies, using the disruption of internet, you are doing those type of things using internet. Yeah. So the teller's job, it is not that the things teller was doing before in Jamaica, those things are not being done. Those things are still being done, but not using a teller, but using a machine. So maybe a customer can go themselves to the machine and do their things, whatever they want to, they want to do. And in the early days, someone can guide them, like on these type of places. There is someone, some human beings also. If you are not comfortable with using the machine, they will teach you how to use it. It is, and they make it very user friendly also, and you will learn, and then for in the future you will just come on your own and you will make the interaction. And different type of facilities, like withdrawing money and all of those type of things. And so ATMs, what is that? It's technology driven, so how it makes your life easy, and so on. As a matter of fact, I'm just thinking, the other day I went to a Digicel store in Sovereign, uh, and I wanted some credit. So uh, earlier you had to speak with the customer rep, and they would give you the credit. And so this time they had a machine, and I just put in the information, and the slip came, and that is about it. So no interaction to needed to get uh, your credit. So this is what is this? This is same type of thinking and concept. Embrace experimentation, employee involvement. Very important that you involve employees in all of these. Actively direct AI strategy, responsibly collect data. This is very important because AI will be dependent on data. So how you collect that data, and how companies use that data, that is also going to be very important. Like these recent things which you must have seen regarding, for example, Facebook. How do they use the data breaches and those type of things? And the domain of law and ethics is linked with this. And redesign work to incorporate AI and cultivate related employee skills. A survey of 1,075 companies, one more than almost 1,100 companies in 12 industries, found that the more of these principles companies adopted, the better their AI initiatives performed in terms of speed, cost saving, revenue, and other operational measures. And international business cannot be successful if it is slow, if it is not saving cost, if revenues are not generated, and so on. Yeah, so these things are, so it's 1,100, almost 1,100 companies, 12 industries. And look at this chart. Number of human machine collaboration principles adopted, and these were the principles above. We just looked at them very briefly. Yeah. So as the number increases, 1, 2, principle 3, 4, you are seeing that performance improvements going up and up and up. Yeah, more and more technologies. And we were talking about Amazon, so you can look at, for example, Amazon warehouse and see. And these things, I hope you are, as I'm talking about it, you are using Google to learn about these things, like Amazon warehouse AI robot. Just run Google searches like this and see what comes up, and then see these talking about these type of things. You can see, like, you see there's very little human being interaction. Yeah. And those type of, so this is
Sir, may I make
something which,
2 points?
yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So the first point, when I talk about business processes, sometimes AI makes things more complicated than it needs to be. Because because of COVID-19, when you call a lot of companies, they direct you to WhatsApp them instead. And then when you WhatsApp them to explain the problem, like an automated response comes up, and like it have a
Yes,
set option, but what your problem does not fall within the option because it takes a longer run around than if you just
yes,
talk to somebody.
yes, that
And
is a possibility.
but then on the topic of the collecting data responsibly, have you ever just talked about something near your phone and then you just constantly set advertisements for it? Like for instance, you are telling a friend that you are hungry and then every minute you go on YouTube you see a food ad or if you're saying that oh you're going to get a new phone, every minute you see a different phone ad come up. Do you notice that too?
Yes, 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 you are absolutely right. Keep on like advertising to us because they have the data and in different things. So this is a phone example, but I'm sure other friends are getting these type of things also. Very good points. Yes, yes, yes. Go ahead. Yes, so the points George made are very, very useful and um important pointers to really reflect on. And these challenges are going to be there because it is still it is early time for these type of technologies. But as um, time will pass, these type of technologies will improve more and more. Of course, there are these type of glitches which George mentioned, and you would be familiar with those type of things also. But eventually, these things will improve. It is just like any technology when it comes, when phone, for example, came, as George was giving example, phone came at that time. There was no concept of touch screens on a phone, but now almost people don't want to buy if it is not a touch screen. Right? They would want a phone which has a touch screen at least. Yes. So over a period of time, these type of technologies improve and so on. But good points, George. Human assistant machines. So they are saying that in three areas they would human needs to perform three crucial roles. They must train machines to perform certain skills. So training, explain the outcomes of those tasks, especially when the results are counterintuitive on and or controversial. So explaining, training, explaining, and sustain the responsible use of machines by, for example, preventing robots from harming humans. This is very interesting. So sustaining. There are three tasks which humans would have to perform if we need to think about humans assisting machines. So one is explaining, one is training, and one is sustaining. So let's scan through what they are saying. So training, as I was talking about, they are dependent on huge training data sets. So a lot of data will be required. AI systems must be trained how best to interact with humans. So these are the problems which maybe George was highlighting, that unnecessary marketing to her. She buy a phone, for example, so then more phones, advertisement, and so on. Whatever data the company has, unnecessary emails and these type of things, those things come up. Um, um, but then, of course, this can be the negative side. But then there can be positive sides to this also. Like for example, when you are on a platform like Amazon, based on your past history, it suggests that if you like that, you will like this also. Like you are reading a book, you like the book, you bought a book, you liked it, you left a good review, so you are that type of book reader. So you like that type of material. Now Amazon starts recommending you that if you like that book, you're going to like this book. If you like this book, you're going to like that book. Same thing for the movies. You'll watch a movie or serial on Netflix is using a lot of AI. You should. I know that many people are very fond of uh, uh, Netflix. So you should run some Google searches on that. Yeah, how does Netflix use machine learning, for example, artificial intelligence. Um, no, that was different. This is how Netflix uses AI, data science, and machine learning, something like this. That was a movie name, artificial intelligence. Yeah. So this type of how they use, like they give you like uh, you watch something, you give it a good rating, they recommend things to you. How they are able to do that? They are using some type of artificial intelligence there. So there are negatives, as George was mentioning, and then there are positives also. So it is just like any other technology. How you're going to use it is going to make the difference. Let's look at some examples. Consider Microsoft's AI assistant Cortana. The bot requires extensive training to develop just the right personality: confident, caring, and helpful, but not bossy. Instilling those qualities took countless hours of attention by a team that included a poet, a novelist, and a playwright. So it is not just technology. When you are training these type of bots, like you are familiar with, for example, Siri, uh, so how it got the training, that is very interesting part. And see how different people are included. So you could be a poet. You want to become a poet, and you are into literature, and you are into humanities, and you might think that you don't have a direct role in improving artificial intelligence, which is totally different domain. It is technology, but you will be surprised how things are linked, especially if we want to take AIs and these type of technologies to a higher level. We need collaboration from different fields. Um, Similarly, human trainers were needed to develop the personalities of Apple Siri and Amazon's Alexa. Alexa is again very famous. You guys must be aware of that. Uh, to ensure that they accurately reflected their company's brands. Siri, for example, has just a touch of sassiness as consumers might expect from Apple. And then all of this, these advancements depend on this huge training data sets. Yeah, huge training data sets. Uh, so so the jobs of data scientists, uh, to put the right data also. Data is should not have some type of bias, ethical consideration. So it's very interesting topic of training machines um, to be used in various aspects of life, and then eventually to improve international businesses. Like if how Alexa or Siri or Cortana view, for example, black community. Yeah. So how do that, or how do they view Muslims, for example? Do they brand Muslims with some type of terrorism, terrorists, or something like that? Or do they link color or the tone of the color from the class? Like if you are lighter tone uh, Jamaican, you must be coming from upper class. These type of prejudice and biases which we see in our societies, not just limited to Jamaica. In any and every country, you talk about US, a similar type of bias and prejudice and these type of things. So you need to ensure that in your data sets, that type of bias is not there. Yeah. So how different people will come in to look at the data, like ethical consideration, like lawyers have a lot to do with these type of things also. Um, so um, so this is very interesting area to think about. AI assistants are now being trained to display even more complex and subtle human traits such as sympathy. So you might think that sympathy is something which is just a human character, but they are working on teaching technologies to be more sympathetic. Just like, Jode was giving an example, like send her from one place to another, and then WhatsApp and this and that, not coordinated. So what is that? It is just that the technology needs to be trained in a proper way. It is just like human beings. When you come to UV and you have a problem, they send you from post to pillar. You come to one person, they say go there, then they send to next one, and then they send to next one, and then you come back to the same person. You are there. This happens. Yeah. uh, I'm very well aware. I have experienced these things myself, uh, as student, on the campus. So this is what happens. So uh, humans can also lack that type of sympathy. So it is not just technology. We just need to train. It can be humans and it can be technology. The startup Coco, an offset of the MIT Media Lab. Please run searches on Media Lab MIT, and read the type of projects they are doing if you are interested in this type of conversation which we are trying to have today. You will learn a lot of things. Has developed technology that can help AI assistants seem to commiserate. For instance, if a user is having a bad day, the Coco system does not reply with a canned response such as, I'm sorry to hear that. So AI will not say that. Instead, yeah, very interesting. Instead, it may ask for more information and then offer advice to help the person see his issues in a different light. If he were feeling stressed, for instance, Coco might recommend thinking of that tension as a positive emotion that could be channeled into action. Very interesting. Yeah. So it is technology becoming your friend. Yeah. So if once technology develop these type of characteristics and the cost comes down, it of buying AI for your use, it is definitely going to make serious changes in the way we live, in the way we do businesses. International businesses are totally going to change. Maybe not in the short run, of course, maybe not in 5, 6, 7, 10 years, but in the longer run, these things are bound to happen. So you should really think about these things, and then, as this is we are you, you should you should think about the way international businesses can change, and then try to think about those things. And as you become part of some business, you try to re-engineering re-engineer the process, at least start your thought process on those lines. So this was training, but there are two other things which humans need to do, which and second one is explaining, and then we will talk about sustaining. So explaining requires human experts in the field to explain their behavior to non-expert users, yeah, in a simple way. So if I am some expert, which I am not, if I am expert in international business, then my job is not to confuse you with my knowledge. My job is to make things easy to understand for you. Um so easy that you might start thinking, oh, this is very easy, which maybe it is not. But the ability to explain things in a easy way, so that even non-experts can understand, that is, I think, that is the best thing to do, instead of making people confused. And that is the same thing which the type of human experts which will be required would have this skill which I'm talking about. Only then they will be able to train machines in the right way. These explainers are particularly important in evidence-based industries. And what are evidence-based industries? Such as law, such as medicine, where a practitioner needs to understand how an AI weighed input into, say, a sentencing in law, or medical recommendation, as uh, doctors. So that is the rationale of why uh, we are doing what we are doing, explaining that to machine in a very easy to understand terminology. Yeah. So no matter what you are doing, you might be a doctor. Although I don't think anyone is a doctor or studying medicine in our cohort. But let's say you are a doctor, or you are a you are studying law. Yeah. So in your field, try to grip the skill of making complex terminologies, explaining complex things in a way which are very easy to understand. So then you would, in the future, you would be able to apply for a job like this, where your job is to explain the principles of law or the principles of medicine, or these type of cyber security issues, ethical dilemmas, moral principles, religious concepts. These are some things which you need to train the machine, and people are working on it. And that is why I said, please, MIT Media Lab, look into it, and you are going to find a lot of interesting things. Uh, so it's linked with decision making and so on. So look into that. Let's look at some example. For instance, the European Union's new General Data Protection Regulation gives consumers the right to receive an explanation for any algorithm-based decision, such as the rate offer on a credit card or mortgage. Yes, and you must be aware that how banks are using banks are like international businesses. So international banks, how they are using different type of AI to do various things. For example, when we will look at the examples in this article, you will find like security, fraud detection, those type of things. Banks are using that. Yeah. This is one area where AI will contribute to increased employment. And this is very interesting because as we talk about technologies, we say that more and more jobs would go away. Yes, it is true, many jobs will go away, but the number of new jobs which will come as a result of increase in technology are more than the number of jobs which will go away. And you can run some searches on that data across regions, establish that and prove that. Yeah. Um, Experts estimate that companies will have to create about 75,000 new jobs to administer the GDPR requirement. Yeah, this is just one example. And the last one, sustaining. Yeah, employees who continually work to ensure that AI systems are functioning properly, safety issues responsibly, uh, these type of things. For example, an array of experts, sometimes referred to as safety and engineers, focus on anticipating and trying to prevent harms by AI. Where AI can go wrong, that type of work. What can go wrong? And looking into that and learning from that. Other groups of sustainers make sure that AI systems uphold ethical norms. Yeah, ethical norms. So ethics in law, for example, what is ethical and what is not ethical. Yeah, these are is no what is ethical for you might not be ethical in some other culture. It's what is normal for you is not normal uh, for other cultures. It is like if you speak with some and things change, and we might not be seeing how things are going to change maybe in international business because of AI. Maybe right now we have our reservations on that what would be the scale and scope. But you just need to go back in history to see how things changed in the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And you just need to speak with some elderly people who are maybe 80, 90-year old, and you are maybe 20-year old. and just ask them how was life at that point in time, and ask them, did you imagine that we will be living in this type of world where we are living now? And I'm sure they are going to say no. Um, so very interesting areas to look at. Playing a similar role, data compliance officers try to ensure that the data that is feeding AI systems complies with the GDPR and other consumer protection regulations. And this is an interesting topic in international business management. Consumer protection regulations and so on. I think someone mentioned in last discussion also something about, reporting business of bad practices and so on. Almost all countries have laws and regulations which support consumer rights and so on. That is another thing, if they are implemented, and to what degree they are implemented, that is something else to think about. Machines assisting humans. Yeah. Smart machines are helping humans expand their abilities in three ways. They can amplify our cognitive strengths, mind strength, ability to, all things linked with cognition. So amplify that. So it has an amplifying effect. Interact with customers and employees to free us from high level tasks, free us for high level tasks. So interaction. So many times companies are using different type of chat bots and automated systems, and um, those type of things. Um, so it does many things there. It especially for basically frequently asked questions, this type of intelligence can answer those type of regular business related questions in an international business. And then of course they can have some humans also available. If bots cannot answer the questions properly, then of course a human can come in, but it frees up a lot of time which can be used in higher level tasks, uh, like maybe creativity, maybe idea generation. But then you can also argue that creativity, even with creativity and idea generation, when you augment human skills with artificial intelligence, the results which comes, or the options which come, they really multiply. And we would like to look at some of the examples. And embody human skills to extend our physical capabilities. So three things we're going to look at now. Amplify, it amplifies our cognitive strengths, ability to interaction skills, uh, and give us better physical capabilities also. Amplifying, artificial intelligence can boost our analytic and decision making abilities by providing the right information at the right time, especially when there is a lot of data to look at. But it can also heighten creativity. Consider how Autodesk Dreamcatcher AI enhances the imagination of even exceptional designers. You can be exceptional designer, but AI is going to enhance your imagination. A designer provides Dreamcatcher with criteria about the desired product. For example, a chair able to support up to 300 pounds with a seat 18 inches off the ground, made of materials costing less than $75, and so on. So what it is doing, it is giving criteria to the machine, that these are the criterias on which you need to create something for me. And this person can be exceptional designer. She can also supply information about other chairs that she find attractive. So AI can do that. Dreamcatcher then churns out thousands of designs that match those criteria, often sparking ideas that the designer might not have initially considered. Although the designer is exceptional designer. It's a possibility because the capacity of human brain is very high, but generally people are unable to use their mind at that capacity. Most of the people, very few are able to really use the capacity of mind and brain in their lifetime. This is very, very interesting. She can then guide the software, telling it which chairs she likes or does not, leading to a new round of designs. Throughout the iterative process, Dreamcatcher performs the myriad calculations needed to ensure that each proposed design meet the specified criteria, and this frees the time for that designer to maybe think and reflect and do some other type of things. Yeah, this is very interesting. So it's a good example of amplifying interacting, and we just spoke about interacting in the earlier discussion, like for example uh, AI agents like Cortana, like Siri, and so on, chatbots. Yeah, you mentioned these type of examples, but let's look at some more concrete example. A major Swedish bank now uses a virtual assistant called Ida to interact with millions of customers. Millions of customers. Now, if you want to interact with millions of customers using human contacts, yes, it is possible, and companies were doing that in the past. But technology is faster, more accurate. Technology is not going to get tired, not fatigued, and you can put the accent which you want. The technology can, if you like my accent, technology can talk in my accent. If I like your accent, technology can talk in your accent. Looking at different location, you can set the accent or the tone or whatever. Yeah, so these things are possible. Uh, Technology can very easily shift from language to language. You just need to put in the software. You can teach the technology all different types of languages to same to same virtual assistants, which is Ida. Yeah, you can teach as many languages as you want, and how much it is going to cost you. It is one-time cost, and now you are just maintaining it. But with human beings, the cost is too much. And of course, yeah, as George mentioned in the early part of the discussion, that there are some problems, glitches here and there, and but they will be removed eventually, and that is your job. As if you are going to become part of some business, international business or not international, whatever, these are the challenges you should be thinking about. Uh, how to get rid of these type of problems in, for example, customer service. When customers call to complain, how we can incorporate technology, what things technology can deal with easily, and where we need human beings, how are we going to train them, all the things we discussed, the three things we discussed earlier. That is your, in the real world, that is your job. uh, the better you are informed about these things, the better you will be the asset for the business. Able to handle natural language conversations, Ida has access to vast stores of data and can answer many frequently asked questions, such as how to open an account or make cross-border payments. Yeah, these are international business-related topics. She can also ask callers follow-up questions to solve their problems. Follow-up questions, and very interesting. Um, if you look at the advancements of robotics and technologies and artificial intelligence, you will be surprised, because these are many things which you would just see in the movies, but they are becoming part of real life. And she's able to analyze the caller's tone of voice, and she is the AI. She is Ida. Yeah, she's able to analyze the caller's tone of voice. Is the voice frustrated versus appreciative, for instance? So this is training. I'm going to, so voice coaches, people, sound coaches, they will become part of training AI. Let's see how many new jobs are being created and use that information to provide better service later. And later on, you will see in the examples when you will read the, I think, when you will read the article line by line and try to appreciate it. This is very interesting. Analyze a caller's tone of voice. It's very interesting. Like the companies, international businesses, when they are hiring, they are getting a lot of applications from across the world. Do they have time and resources to go through all the CVs? No, they don't. How do they scan different CVs and take them out? This is something which we would like to maybe talk about a little later before closing. Uh, and also, in the interview, the way you are answering the questions, the tone of your voice, how you are answering, is the person lying when you can it's not 100% yet, yeah, it is not 100% yet, yeah, but the point is it is improving, and it is very likely that in our lifetimes, all of us, it is very likely that we are going to see these things implemented, um, at least in the developed countries, at least whenever the system cannot resolve an issue. What happens is about 30% of the cases, it turns the caller over to human customer rep, and then they can look into those type of things. Yeah. Uh, let's look at embodying. Yeah. So in manufacturing, for example, robots are evolving from potentially dangerous and dumb industrial machines into smart, context-aware robots. Context-aware. Context-aware. Yeah. Environment scan. Look at the environment, and then your decision should be based on what is the context you are dealing with. And it is not just physical movement, it is also what the AI is going to say, the choice of words going to be content. But it's very difficult to train it, and that is why, that is the beauty. It's how a human child learns and learns different languages, and what we learn, even those type of things. AI is not reached at that level to comprehend the things in the same in the same way, but it is work in progress. A cobot arm might, for example, handle repetitive actions that require heavy lifting, while a person performs complementary tasks that require dexterity and human judgment, such as assembling a gear. So this human judgment, uh, please reflect on this. Human judgment, intuition. I think that is, I would like to close, when we close our article, I would close on human judgment and intuition and those type of things. But meanwhile, just think about this. This is very interesting. Hyundai, you are familiar with the company, is extending the cobot concept with exoskeletons. These wearable robotic devices which adapt to the user and location in real time will enable industrial workers to perform their jobs with superhuman endurance and strength. And Hyundai, and it's an international business. Yeah. So companies are doing these type of things. Very interesting. So in this background, which it's a very big topic, but I think we have a reasonable background on this. So now we would want to uh, maybe look at through the lens of international businesses, and for that, let's look at this reimagining your businesses. And in this section, we will quickly try to look into some examples also. In order to get the most value from AI, operations need to be redesigned. To do this, companies must first discover and describe an operational area that can be improved. That is the first thing you need to look at. Discover and describe operational area. What needs improvement? Which area is lacking from the side of competition? What can we improve? The first thing you need to, what is worth improving? Those type of questions you need to answer. It might be a bulky internal process such as HR slowness to fill staff positions, or it could be a previously intractable problem that can now be addressed using AI, such as quickly identifying adverse drug reactions across patient population. Moreover, a number of new AI and advanced analytic techniques can help surface previously invisible problems that are amenable to AI solutions. Next, companies must develop a solution through co-creation. Yeah, this is some concept which you must have heard in since in our live discussions also. I think one of our articles was talking about co-creation, and also in the pre-recordings we're talking about co-creation somewhere. Having stakeholders envision how they might collaborate with AI systems to improve a process. Consider the case of a large agricultural company that wanted to deploy AI technology to help farmers. So you can have some big international business of some large agriculture company, and then you would want to see how technology is helping farmers. Like locally speaking, in Jamaica, look at the field of farming and see what things are being farmed, how we can improve the quality and production rate using some types of technologies. Once you master that and your quality is good, that is, it will, your business will start in the local market, and eventually it has all the potential to go in the international markets. Yeah. So first you will have to, discover and describe an operational area that can be improved in that field. Maybe it is agriculture, whatever it is, does not matter. Whatever your passion is, wherever your heart is, you find that, and then you think about co-creation. Yeah. The people who are knowledgeable in that field, if it is agriculture, those people who have experience, you deal with them. You should also develop some competencies in some area, which you will eventually, um, and then see what technologies are available, how other countries are making improvements. You don't have to reinvent anything. It is just see what are the best practices, how other countries are doing, and then from that knowledge, just do something a little extra. Just take the next step from that idea, whatever they are doing. Uh, um, it's a long process. It's nothing happens overnight, but that is how things start. Mercedes Benz was not made in in one night. Yeah. An enormous amount of data was available about soil properties. For example, they are trying to develop on this agriculture company example. Soil properties, weather patterns, historical harvest, and so forth. And the initial plan was to build an AI application that would more accurately predict future crop yields. Yeah. And then they have explained, what would be the process like. And this is applicable to anything, not just agriculture and so on. And then the third step for companies is to scale and then sustain the proposed solution. For example, the bank example we just spoke about originally deployed a version of IDA internally to assist 15,000 bank employees. Just 15,000 bank employees were in the bank, and they bring in IDA, yeah, to help those 15,000 bank employees. But thereafter rolled out the chatbot to its 1 million customers. They started with 15,000, see how it worked. Of course, there were some issues and whatever, rectify those problems, and then go 1 million customers. How much money that international business would have saved just by this? How much money? And of course, there would be some challenges, and of course, it's a possibility that there are some customers who are not happy. But as they give you, complain you, then a complaint is not a complaint. Complaint is your opportunity to make your customer even more happier. That is what a complaint is. Complaint is not end of business. If I am the business and you are complaining to me that why I am doing what I am doing, now the ball is in my court. I can do things to please you now. That you are upset about it, then let's see what I can do. Yeah. So complaint is no problem. What is the problem with complaint? As long as you are willing to, as a business owner, you are willing to. You are not looking at as a complaint. You are looking at an opportunity to delight your customer. Yeah. At least theoretically speaking, in the real world, many things will, many things you need to consider and so on. Through our work with hundreds of companies, we have identified 5 characteristics of business processes that companies typically want to improve. Yeah. And here we will give your international business examples and so on. So the 5 areas they have identified. Yeah. Flexibility. Need to ensure that the business is flexible. Yeah. Speed, fast reaction times, not delayed. Yeah. Scale, big, across boundaries, international markets, across continents. Decision making, fast and accurate, based on data, based on knowledge, not just your gut feeling. Although, as I said, that I would like to close with judgment. So that is judgment, gut feeling, intuition, decision making, and personalization. Yeah. When reimagining a business process, determine which of these characteristics is central to the desired transformation you want to create, how intelligent collaboration could be harnessed to address it, and what alignments and trade-offs with other process characteristics will be necessary. So can't, there will always be some trade-offs. One thing you will do not going to be perfect. There are going to be some challenges. Um, there are going to be some challenges. Uh, so, for example, I was giving you my example of going to Sovereign Digicel store, buying credit. Yeah. So earlier, this is how I would buy. I would go there and I would buy $1,000 credit, and I would buy like maybe 3 or 4 different slips, and I would not add it to my phone, because I don't really use phone much, to be honest. Uh, so uh, I would put 1,000 in the phone, and then I have the remaining ones, and then later down, whenever I need credit, I will just punch in the numbers and it will go. Yeah. So with this one now machine, I was unable to do it when I went there, and I asked for help, and their rep came, and she said that there is no slip. It will directly go in your phone. So you will get the bill will be your slip, but it is not a slip where you will have numbers and that thing. So I said, how I can get it? She said, we don't have it. You can, from outside places, you can get it, like the other way of getting credit, which. But from the store, she was saying, no, it will go directly. Whatever you will buy, it will go directly. So you can buy just 1,000 and then see whatever you want to do. So now that is a change. So I was not looking for that. Of course, I would prefer the old system, but I appreciate it. I enjoyed the machine. I liked it. uh, I remember I was looking at it, and it was a nice, good machine, and I believe in digitization and these type of things. So although that is not something which I would have personally wanted, I would have wanted, so, and that function they can put in the machine also. Like they can, it's just, it's easy. It's not hard. But I did not say it to them, and maybe that is not the need in the market. Maybe many people don't use it like that. They don't want to just buy $1,000 slips, and then because it can also expire, and it has some expiry dates and those type of things. But so what I'm trying to say, that there are always going to be trade-offs. You cannot make everyone happy. But if you want to be successful in international business, then you should not think that you cannot make everyone happy. It's a wrong, it's the wrong mindset to have. You should inspire. It should be the purpose of your company, that my international business is going to make every customer happy. Yeah. So that it's part of your purpose. It's part of your dream. Yeah. And then you employ people whose passion is that, who says that why we cannot make every customer happy. We understand it is hard, and it is something, it's difficult. But uh, and it's okay if someone says we cannot. I just said it myself a while ago that we cannot make everyone happy. But not a mindset of international business, like the type of international business management I am trying to convey to you, in that you would want to think otherwise. Anyways, let's look at some of the examples on these 5 domains. So flexibility, speed, scale, decision making, and personalization. This is, you will read the details in your own time. I'm coming to this chart, which very beautifully summarize majority of the things I would like to touch. So enhancing performance and at organizations in all kind of industries, humans and AI are collaborating to improve 5 elements of business processes. 5 elements in your international business. What are those? Number one, flexibility. So auto manufacturing, Mercedes-Benz assembly, robots work safely alongside humans to customize cars in real time. Yeah. So Mercedes can individualize vehicle production according to the real-time choices consumers make at dealership, changing everything from a vehicle's dashboard components to the seat leathers to the tire valve caps. As a result, no two cars rolling off the assembly line are the same. Yeah. This is auto flex. It makes flexible operations, flexibility. Yeah. So what is Mercedes-Benz? It's an international business. Yeah. Product design, Autodesk. Software suggests new product designs concepts as a designer changes parameters such as material cost and performance requirements. Yeah. We spoke about the making of a chair, for example. Product design. Yeah. So you can be expert architect, and you want to build a house. Yes, you can draw everything and make the thing, and you are the expert. You have 20, 30, 40 years of experience. You will be fine. But if we also give you some type of AI, where you put in your criteria, parameters across domains, across material, across cost, performance requirements, how it is going to change the thing. So if you are international business whose job is to make chairs, yeah, maybe you are international business and your job is to make chairs. Now, in the future, will you continue making and selling it in the different markets the way things are being done now? I don't think so. Yeah. And I'm sure you will agree. Maybe on your website there will be like criteria like these ones. And look at the model on which these type of companies really prospered in last 10 years, 20 years, even more. Like IKEA, where they just give you uh, the parts and then you assemble the furniture yourself. Yeah, I think it is IKEA. Run some uh, searches on that and see how. So how is this? Is their model the regular way of making furnitures? No. Generally, the case was that the finished product was available and people will go there and buy. With them, they don't give you finished product. You assemble it yourself. Yeah. So how, why they came up with that idea years ago? So that was true at that time. Now maybe companies like read about IKEA, how they are, what are their future projects, and other companies like that, how they want to grow in international markets. Software development, yeah, you can read on these. So flexibility is one point. Yeah. Next one, speed. HSBC, again, international business, international bank. Fraud detection. AI screens credit and debit card transactions to instantly approve legitimate ones while flagging questionable ones for human to evaluate. Flagging, they flag and then humans can see what needs to be done. So, and how many transactions are happening internationally for HSBC, BC, or a bank like that? How many transactions are happening as we speak now? How many customers they have? Is it possible to look at all the transactions human at a human level? It's not possible anymore. So if you want to give the scale of your business to, if you want to give international, if you want to internationalize your business, you don't have other option, I think, unless you are going into custom made marketing where very few people are going to buy your product. But then you will have to make a name like Rolls Royce or something like that for your business. That is totally different now. Yeah. Um, so this is very, and other speed at which, speed is like Facebook. You post some picture on Facebook, which is some nude or something like that, and it does not comply with the policies of Facebook, of course. So how Facebook knows immediately, and within few minutes, your picture is removed and your account is blocked. How that happens? Have you thought about that? Do you think human beings are sitting there looking at all the people who are posting on Facebook? How many people
I,
are using
I
Facebook?
only saw that your someone reported it. Like regular viewers reported it, and then they have a AI that looks at that afterwards.
Very
That's what I
good,
always
thanks.
saw that.
Lovely, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes. So AI is looking at that all the time. Only then it is possible. So if a company will not incorporate this type of technology in the future, and that is the purpose of selecting this type of article. If you have interest in international businesses and you will not think about using these type of technologies, and you will think that, oh, I can continue doing the things the way I have been doing, then success is not going to come very easily. uh, Same thing personally speaking, you will graduate in your own time. That is very good and congratulations for that. But if you are not going to develop some skills which are required in the future of business, then forget about it. Then you are going in a different path. So same, individually speaking or business wise speaking, you have to think about these things. Cancer treatment, yeah, I made gave some examples of that earlier. Public safety, this is very interesting. Public safety, you should read about this. Video analytics during public events, predicts crowd behavior, and a lot of people are there. Crowd behavior, helping responders address security incidents rapidly. Public safety. Singapore government is doing that. Yeah, and China is very much known of using video cameras and all of those things all over the country. A very they use it because of, again we can argue that their government structure is different and the government is not a democracy. So in a democracy you need to behave differently, you need to take people's opinion and consideration, because at the end of the day you are going to go and ask for votes and those type of things. So it's different. uh, so they are doing it. Yeah, and why, how we can use different type of technologies to, for example, reduce the crime levels in our beautiful country. Yeah, how that can be used. So if someone is becoming a police officer, for example, they are doing the regular studies, in the future that is not enough. They need to now think about how technologies, and AI is just one of many technologies. Yeah, there are so many technologies out there, but we are talking about AI. So they need to, outside of that, they need to see how AI is is going to make some impact. Yeah. Uh, I think Alano or someone is reading law or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I saw some friends who are maybe law, studying law or something like that. So they will study what they have to study to become the lawyer, and they are going to become good lawyers and so on. But they need to now need to now think how technology's role is coming in how artificial intelligence is going to uh, assist lawyers in doing their things, for example, like reading all those law books, heavy books, and so on, uh, to memorize them and so on. Yes, it is good if you memorize them, yes, but what would be the utility of that in the future? How lawyers are going to work, for example. So maybe universities are not going to prepare you with those skills, no matter what your field is. You are operation manager, major, or you are marketing manager, or you are HR manager. Yeah. Uh, you then need to look at those skills and prepare yourself for that. And for HR, let's look at scale recruiting. Yeah, Unilever, again international business, automated applicant screening dramatically expands the pool of qualified candidates for hiring managers to evaluate. Yeah. It's very interesting. uh, how, and you should run some searches how Unilever and those type of uh, uh, those type of um, those type of companies are using. And I know many people do HR and those type of things. So let me go back and in the article and maybe share some things with you from here. So for scale, uh, here is how Unilever combined human and AI capability to scale individualized hiring. In the first round of the application process, candidates are asked to play online games that help assess traits such as risk aversion. These games have no right or wrong answer, but they help Unilever's AI figure out which individuals might be best suited for a particular position. That was first round. In the next round, applicants are asked to submit a video in which they answer questions. And you guys just submitted video for for this course also, for the coursework, in which they answer questions designed for the specific position they are interested in. Their responses are analyzed by an AI system that considers not just what they say, but also their body language and tone. They are looking at your body language, your tone, and they have a lot of data to compare you against. Like people who are nervous, they speak like this, and they have a lot of data to back that. And then they are comparing that with people who lie, they do like this. Of course, not 100% accurate right now, but this technology is going to improve. So then see, if you are international business, your hiring is totally going to change in years to come. The best candidates from that round, as judged by the AI, are then invited to Unilever for in-person interviews, after which humans make the final hiring decision. But because it is international business, Unilever, lot of applications come, so all of this. Now you can argue that in process it is possible that there are some good candidates which did not make it for whatever the reason. Yes, that is going to happen. But think about the time Unilever saved, how quick they were able to do the thing. And if they miss couple of people here and there, it does not really matter to them because they are going to find the right talent for the right job anyways. Yeah. And look at these numbers also. I think this is going to give some perspective to us. Because job seekers can easily assess the system by smartphone, the number of applicants doubled to 30,000 within a year because of this technology. The number of universities represented surged from 840 to 2,600. And the socio-economic diversity of new hires increased. Furthermore, the average time from application to hiring decision has dropped from 4 months to just four weeks. Oh, what a beautiful thing. While the time that recruiters spend reviewing application has fallen by 75%. 75%. And now they can focus on other things. Yeah. So this is what scale is. And it's international business, Unilever in recruiting. How you can look the things up in the field you are interested in. You don't have to look at recruiting if HR is not your thing. Your thing is marketing. Look into marketing. How AI is being used by international businesses to market in a better way. And then you study that. If university is not teaching you those things, no problem. Don't worry about that. You do it on your own, and then if you get like some problem in the process, then you can ask around and see who is willing to help you. But the idea is just looking at your course outline and just doing those things in marketing, and just that is that is not necessarily the best way to prepare yourself for international businesses
Sir,
and so on. Yes,
sir,
please
to
go
be
ahead.
honest, it gets overwhelming because you don't know, like you have so much information out there, you don't know where to really start. Like you'll watch a
Oh,
YouTube video and each one has a different start, and then you have loads and loads of websites. So
oh
after
yes.
what, yeah. So how do
Oh
you
yes.
like narrow down? Because with school you have a syllabus, so you know exactly
Yes.
ABs. But when you're doing
Yes.
your own research, you don't really have like a guideline. Like I say, okay, I'm going to learn this first and this first, and then sometimes when you're learning something else, you can't understand that unless you knew something before. Because I'm doing sciences, and
Yes.
you'll do a research, and then you don't understand anything that this is saying because you didn't understand a concept in that research, which leads you to
Yes.
have to research. Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely, very beautiful observation. Absolutely correct. That happens all the time. That happens with me also when I'm conducting some type of research. I'm trying to find out what. But anyways, what I do, I can tell you what I do. Like, let's say that I want to understand how international businesses are using artificial intelligence. Uh, how they are using artificial intelligence to maybe recruit. If this is something what I would want to understand, let's suppose that this is what I want to understand, then I would of course start with basic searches, and from that I will find companies like Unilever and so on. Yeah. So once I start find out some companies like Unilever and so on, I would list them. But then I won't just look for recruiting. I would within recruiting I would want to find specific things, specific things, very specific things. Like for example, I would run some searches on, let's go back to the article, what are the things uh, they were mentioning. So they were, for example, they were talking about play online games to assess traits such as risk aversion. So play online games. So I would zero on what type of online games they are playing and find out about that, and find out who are the people who are the creators of these games. What skills I can develop for myself if I am a computer science major. Yeah, I'm interested in computer sciences. So what type of online games are there which are going to assess the traits, uh, such as risk aversion, and within risk aversion, what type of risk aversion because of fear, risk aversion because of what. So I would narrow down on that. So as you keep on downing, you can make your niche there. And then also what I do is talk with the people who are in that field. So I would try to find some people who are developers of these online games in HR, and then write them emails and stuff like that. Not everyone responds. It's a long process. So, but you have to do these type of things, and eventually someone is going to respond you, and then see what is what. So generally, this is more or less this is the framework which most of the times I use, and it generally helps us. But yes, in the beginning, where you are maybe, it's good to speak with some expert in the field and take guidelines from them, and then over a period of time you will do these type of things which I am trying to ask you to do. There's no shortcut or anything like that. It's like a journey, and a continuous improvement type of journey which you would want to take. Customer service, we spoke about that briefly, and I think George mentioned some of the challenges in customer services. So then if you want to so those challenges are there. So now you need to think how to minimize those challenges. So are there any companies which face similar type of challenges in the past when they were using some type of technology? What did they do? What are the best practices? Read on them. Those type of things, that research you would want to do, and then see if you can bring it in your own company also. What are the things you can bring in your own company, based on the culture of your company, based on whatever you aspire to make your company, those type of things. Yeah. And then decision making, number 4 is decision making. This is very decision making is extremely uh, interesting, for obvious reasons, because the AI can use a lot of data, and it can help us to make the right decisions in a very fast way. General Electric, it's an international business. Digital twins and predicts diagnostic application provide techs with tailored recommendations for machine maintenance. So you are maintaining a lot of machine equipment in your international business, for example. So how to, if you sometimes human beings are going to, maybe miss something, which you can very easily, quickly uh, identify using these type of digital twins and so on. And General Electrics is using AI to uh, maintain their equipment. And if you will read the examples they are giving in the session, I will quickly highlight maybe something for you. For example, you can link here. The AI tells to the company that if nothing is done, the rotor on the machine will lose an estimated 70% of its useful life. I mean, they are explaining some problem in the system, and the AI is telling that you need to change it right away, otherwise you are going to lose an estimated 70% of his useful life. It's giving you some numbers based on the track record and so on. So imagine how that is going to change job of a mechanic who maintains equipment on the in your business. What is the importance of incorporating AI for you? Yeah, because it is not one machine which is there, it is a lot of machines. Yeah, financial service, we spoke about it. You can read these examples and disease prediction. If you will run some searches, you are going to find out that AI is like, just you just need to run some searches. Disease prediction, artificial intelligence, using artificial intelligence, early early disease prevention. Yeah, maybe 6 months early, maybe 3 months early, 4 months early. Yeah, and then see what comes up. Yeah, machine learning approaches to predict 6 months mortality among patients with cancer. 2019 article. Yeah, and you're going to find things like this. So you can predict 6 months early, 3 months early, 4 months early, earlier than a regular person. Yeah, uh, it's quite interesting. And the last one, personalization. Yeah, uh, you are familiar with this company because of COVID-19. They made vaccine, healthcare, international business again. Wearable sensors for Parkinson's patients track symptoms 24/7, allowing customized treatment. So this the company has made wearable sensors. Someone has Parkinson's. Um, Tracking system 24/7 and give them customized, personalized treatment to that individual, because the sensors are looking at the various things, whatever you can. So you are a doctor by profession, but then you are using AI to make your job more effective. Yeah, so this is true for um, uh, true in across the fields and domains. Yeah. The need for new roles and talent. Yeah, let's look at that. Reimagining a business process involves more than the implementation of AI technology. So it is not just AI technology which is going to make you successful. It also requires a significant commitment to developing employees with what we call fusion skills. And this is what I was talking about a while ago. Yeah. And yes, Jode is right that there is so much information online, and which skills to really work on and which ones not to. That is some that would require some time and some type of effort and thinking on those lines. But I'm happy that she and hopefully you guys are also, everyone is thinking on those lines. Those that enable them to work effectively at the human machine interface. To start, people must learn to delegate tasks to the new technology. Delegate tasks to new technology. Many times we, you know, are not open to that. We think that no, need to do things by ourselves, but international business mindset is not that. You have to think about delegation. You have to be good with teams, working with teams. So yes, you enjoyed the coursework because you could write the journal in your own time, you could make the video in your own time, you did not have to worry about group work. But group work is what is going to, your ability to manage in a group where people think differently than you. They have their own opinion, they have their own temperaments, they have their own whatever, they have their own issues, and then you manage in that team. That is what international business is all about. As when physicians trust computers to help read X-rays and MRIs, employees should also know how to combine their distinctive human skills with those of a smart machine to get a better outcome than either could achieve alone, as in robot assisted surgery. You could be a surgeon, but then the future is you will be assisted by robots. Uh, you could be an operation manager, but assisted by AI. You could be a project manager, but assisted by AI, and so on. Workers must be able to teach intelligent agents new skills and undergo training to work well within AI enhanced processes. The authors expect that in the future, company roles will be redesigned around the desired outcome of reimagined processes, and corporations will increasingly be organized around different types of skills rather than around rigid job titles. So this is the future, what is going to be different types of skills organized around corporations, organized around different types of skills rather than rigid job titles. And that is why skill development is extremely important, which universities across the globe are maybe not paying, as especially the traditional universities are not paying much attention, unfortunately. And that is why I mentioned that this task you will have to take in your own hands. AT&T has already begun that transition as it shifts from landline telephone services to mobile network and starts to retrain 100,000 employees for new positions. Yeah, very interesting. AT&T. So you should now read about the company. What are they doing? What is happening there? As part of that effort, the company has completely overhauled its organizational chart. Completely overhauled its organizational chart. So you should look for organizational chart for AT&T and T and compare it with the organizational charts which you study in school and see how they are different. They must be different in some way. Yeah. Approximately 2,000 job titles have been streamlined into a much smaller number of broad categories encompassing similar skills. 2,000 job titles. These are some serious things, because you might want to become one of those job titles. I want to become this and this and this, but that is not how. Well, that is not the right way to think about it. It is about developing specific skill set for specific environments and then going in the field. Most activities at the let's try to conclude it in next maybe 5 minutes or four. Most activities at the human machine interface require people to do new and different things. Yeah, new and different things. And that is why we started our semester with idea creation, creativity, because you as I am aware that I mentioned that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, see how other countries are doing the things when I was talking about agriculture, and replicate it. Yes, that is fine. But then I also said that extend it a little bit more. So you can, there is nothing wrong in replicating. So replicate, but then extend it a little bit, even if 1 inch. Yeah. So then it is a new thing, because that thing was not done. It's a replication, but then you extend it by 1 inch. So it's a new thing now. Yeah, new and different things. And this, to do new and different things, you have to take some type of risk. As long as it is calculated risk, it does not really matter if you fail or pass. You will learn something as long as it is a calculated thing. Um, and then you can read this and close in your own time. I said something about how I wanted to close, so I will come instead of this closing section here which you can read. This is something which I would like to close with. The AI technology does what it does best, sifting through and processing copious amounts of data to recommend certain offerings or actions. And humans do what they do best, exercising their intuition and judgment to make a recommendation or select the best fit from a set of choices. So, what humans are doing? Intuition and judgment. So, work on this, read on this, how to improve intuition, your gut feeling, so that it becomes better and better. Intuition, how to improve that. Judgment, how do people improve their judgment, decision making. These are some things which you should uh, read on. I think this is a very exciting area to look at. We did not spoke about all the things which the article mentions, but I mentioned the ones I could. In your own time, you should read that article in detail and then find out what is interesting to you in the article and then start searching on that and so on. And in the process, if you get stuck anywhere or you want to talk about something, I'm just an email away. We can talk more about these type of things. But important is to start looking into these type of things. One more minute. I want to just randomly. I'm just thinking about something. I don't know why I want to share that with you. So last night, it has very little to do with this topic, but it has to do something with international business management. So last night I was on YouTube and I was listening to a very successful uh, international business owner who built it, who built who built his brand for international markets. Very successful. He started early, and in 20 years, 25 years, he was able to, and very rich, and his brand is very, very famous in the countries where he operate. So I was listening to his interview, very casual, candid conversation he was having, and there was a question asked to him. The interviewer asked him that. You are very successful. I'm sure a lot of young people from school, colleges, they would come to you and ask you how to build a brand of international business. How do we build a brand of international business? That is the question which was asked. Yeah, and his reply was very interesting, and that is what I want to share with you. So he says that yes, they asked me this question, and then they give their own opinion on how to build brand in international business and so on and so forth. But I always tell them one thing, and that one thing is that you need to be extremely passionate about your brand, so much passionate that you don't get tired of marketing or building your brand. uh, you don't feel hungry when you are working enthusiastically on your product. You don't feel hungry, and even when you have worked for so many hours and it is night, you don't feel sleepy. But these things, if they are there, only then you will be able to build international brand which is going to go in the hearts and minds of people in a shorter period of time. These are the things you need to have. That was very interesting answer, because these are maybe not the things which are directly written in the books which speak about building international brands, but I totally agree with this sentiment. You definitely in life, whatever you are doing, international business branding or whatever you are doing, you definitely need to find something which does not make you tired, does not make you hungry when you are working on it, uh, does not make you leave when it is 5 o'clock and the class time is over. So thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.